Om. सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि संस्कृतं सदा ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक् वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्। We are going to start with a very beautiful Subhashita which tells the glory of Subhashita and also of Sanskrit language. This coming Monday, 19th of August, this year we are celebrating National Sanskrit Day, Rashtriya Samskrita Dina. This is celebrated on the Shravana Purnima, on the full moon day of the Shravana month. Shravana, we all know, is very important month for all Hindus, for all the people born in India, and generally it is also celebrated with the worship of Lord Shiva. And this year Purnima is also falling on Monday, so Monday is Lord Shiva's day anyway. So this year we will be celebrating on Monday, but every Shravana Purnima is the National Sanskrit Day. So Rashtriya Samskrita Dinasya Shubhashamsaha Sarvebhyah. So based on the glory of Sanskrit language, there is a beautiful Subhashita. First line we had seen in introduction. Okay, when I was giving the glory of Sanskrit language at that time, I had quoted this line, but this is the full Subhashita. Let us chant and see the meaning also. Please repeat. भाषा सुमुख्या मधुरा दिव्या गिर्वाण भारती तस्यां हि काव्यं मधुरं तस्मादपि सुभाषितम्. टुगेदर. भाषा सुमुख्या मधुरा दिव्या गिर्वाण भारती तस्यां हि काव्यं मधुरं तस्मादपि सुभाषितम्. Very famous. First line is very famous. Bhashasu, of all languages, mukhya, the main, madhura, sweet, divya, divine, girvana bharati, the language of gods, is this Sanskrit language. We don't have to now again tell that Sanskrit is the one of the oldest, if not the oldest, languages of the entire world. And we have seen also throughout how much rich this language is in its in its structure of grammar, in its vocabulary, in its beauty, in its simplicity. In all these things we have already seen how wonderful is this language Sanskrit. All our regional languages of India have come from Sanskrit, right? And therefore we should not at all hesitate that this is like our grandmother. If our mother tongue is Marathi, Hindi, Konkani, Kannada, Telugu, etc., mother of all those languages is Sanskrit. So this is our grandmother. And we always have special love towards our grandmother, no? So that is how Sanskrit is. And we should be extremely proud that we are born in this land which has Sanskrit as its language. It is not just language of our lands, it is the language of gods. They say gods speak in Sanskrit. And that is how this language is very, very refined language. The word Sanskrit itself means refined, well-refined language. And we have seen also how over so many years that the language has survived, the meanings have not changed. Even today, studying grammar of Sanskrit, we can even now understand the Vedas, understand the Ramayana, etc., Mahabharata, etc., Puranas. These are most ancient texts. Veda is considered, Rigveda is considered the most ancient book, first book ever available for humankind. And even that we can understand using the grammar of today. It has not changed. This does not happen with languages. See, even our regional languages, the languages have changed a lot. See, Marathi, I can tell, when Jnaneshwar Maharaj writes Marathi in 12th century, we don't understand most of the words, what he is writing. Whereas as we come to 16th century, etc., Ramdas Swami's time, etc., we can understand most of the words we can understand. But again, there are some words which we don't know how the usage is. So we see that over this 700, 800 years itself, the language has changed so much. But we see Sanskrit, it has not changed. That doesn't mean it has become outdated. That's another beauty. It is Purana. It is ever new. It keeps adapting to its new things. We see in universities, etc., nowadays when we go, all the names are, they have Sanskrit equivalent. University, let us say, for example, or even registrar and vice chancellor and chancellor, all of them have equivalents in Sanskrit. Computer, for example, was not there at that time, but the language is created such that it is adaptive to newer ideas and concepts and changing times, but at the same time it remains true to its history. And that's why Sanskrit is most beautiful language. Alright, I keep telling this in all classes, isn't it? I don't have to specially tell anything. So, Bhashasu Mukhya Madhura Divya Girvana Bharati Tasyam hi Kavyam Madhuram. In that Sanskrit, Kavyam Madhuram, poetry is considered sweetest. Actually speaking, in any language, poetry is considered sweetest, isn't it? We say Hindi also, Urdu also. Poetry has got its own flavor. And through the concept of Chandas, Vritta, what we have seen, we saw what kind of richness is there even in poetry. That exact fixed number of letters, fixed number of matras, and that also having a fixed sequence. This and all is not there in most of the languages. And if at all it is there, it has come from Sanskrit only. So you see, Tasyam hi Kavyam Madhuram. Tasmadapi Subhashitam. And more than that, Kavya also is Subhashita, so Madhura. Subhashita is what we are seeing every session at the beginning. That is Subhashita. Subhashita, that which is well said. Subhashita literally means that, but in Sanskrit it has a special meaning of golden sayings in Sanskrit, in verse format, right? So that is called as Subhashita. So that is the beauty, and that is what we are studying. So Sanskrit, the language of gods, is main, sweet and divine among all the languages. Within that, poetry is sweeter and golden sayings are the sweetest. Okay, so beautiful shloka to start today's session on this special occasion of Rashtriya Samskrita Dina, National Sanskrit Day. Let us chant the shloka again and then we will go forward. Bhasha Sumukhya Madhura Divya Girvana Bharati Tasyam hi Kavyam Madhuram Tasmadapi Subhashitam. So once again, happy Sanskrit Day. Now let us start with the final major topic of this series, Sanskrit for Shastra study. This entire series we started and we covered so many points related to Sanskrit, which are necessary to understand Shastra. As I had mentioned earlier, that the goal of this series is not to become great grammarians. No, because that much grammar we are not studying. The goal is also not to be able to speak in Sanskrit. Sambhashana Samskrita is also not the goal of this series. The goal is what? Sufficient knowledge of the language and grammar we should have so that we can independently understand the scriptures. And therefore we started with the gamut of scriptures that we have in Sanskrit language. We saw all that. Then we saw the entire structure of the language, how the language is, what kind of things are there. We saw the alphabets, we saw the words, how many types of words are there. Then we saw, avyayas, indeclinables. Then we saw the subanta and tiganta. So in subanta we saw all the 7 vibhaktis plus 1 sambodhan also. What are the usages of those 7 vibhaktis? How they are, applicable in sentences. Then what are the forms that the vibhaktis, because of the vibhakti pratyas, etc., what are the forms that nouns, pronouns and adjectives, etc., they take? Those forms also we saw. Then we saw the topic of tinganta, kriyapadas, verbs. How tenses and moods play a role. How many roots are there, verbal roots are there, dhatus. How the dhatus are added with ting pratyaya to create verbs. And in different lakaras, in different tenses and moods, how the forms are there. What is the meaning, all that also we saw. Then we also saw one very important topic of sandhi, where how to separate out the words. There are, in Sanskrit, many words are also written together, and when they are written together, they join. They don't become one word, but they join together. So how to separate it out so that we can understand further what the words are and what the meaning those words are communicating. Then we also saw kridanta and taddhitanta, 2 major topics that we have seen recently, the primary and secondary derivatives. How to create noun from verb, kridanta, or verbal roots from dhatus, and then how to create nouns from another nouns. So from dhatu, creating pratipadika is kridanta. From one pratipadika, creating another pratipadika is taddhitanta. And those few pratyas which are important for us to understand the scriptures, to study the scriptures, we have seen also. And in between we have seen so many other small topics, chanda, etc., and upasarga and nijanta, all these topics, prayogas, the active voice, passive voice and bhavi prayoga, etc. In short, we have seen all of them. Right. Now we are starting with the last important major topic of the series called as Samaasa. Samaasa, not samosa or anything else. Samaasa. Samaasa means compound. In Marathi, in texts like Dasabodha, etc., Samaasa is chapter. Isn't it? Here, actually, Samaasa is not actually chapter, but it is collection of verses. So there also the meaning is similar, compound. So Samaasa, samyak asa, sam upasarga purvaka asa dhatu. What does it mean? Asa means to throw. Samyak asa means to throw well, that which throws well. Actually what it means is that which puts together well. Something is put together nicely, properly. That is called as Samaasa. So what do you mean by putting together? 2 or more words combining to form one word is called Samaasa. Please carefully listen. 2 or more words, majority of the times 2 words, but there are occasions where more than 2 words are also combined. So 2 or more words combining to form one word is called Samaasa. These to form one word is very important, because in Sandhi also 2 or more words combine together, but they don't become one word. Major difference between Sandhi and Samaasa. Within Samaasa there can be Sandhi, that's a different topic that we will see. But Sandhi means written together. They don't become one word. They remain 2 separate words. But here 2 or more words combine together to make one word. And that new word that is formed is called as samasta pada. Pada means word, samasta means compound, that which is combined. So samasta pada means that one word which is formed by combining two or more words. Is this also clear? So two or more words combining together to form one word is called as samasa. In that, the word that is newly formed is called as samasta pada. Samasta pada. Right. So we say tatra, there, samasanam samasaha. To bring it together is called as samasa. And what is speciality in this? Aneka padanam ekapadi bhavanam. Nothing. What I have explained in English, that only I have written in Sanskrit. Aneka padanam, of many words, ekapadi bhavanam, to make it into one word. Two or more words combined together to make one word. Aneka padanam ekapadi bhavanam samasa. Samasanam samasa. Tatra samasanam samasa, to bring them together. Okay. So this is what is called as samasa. Now, samasa is not new concept for all of us, because even in English we have certain samasta padas. We use certain compound words. For example, pencil box. Pencil box. What do you mean by pencil box? Box of pencil. Headache. Ache in the head. Headache. Can you see that? And many such words will be there in English. Not as much as Sanskrit, but many compound words will be there. Right? So here what is happening? Two words combined together to form one word. Pencil box is one word. Headache is one word. Clear? Some examples in Sanskrit also you see. Pitambaram. Pitambaram means yellow cloth. Pita means yellow. Ambara means cloth. Pitambaram, yellow cloth. Mahatma, great person. Mahan atma yasya saha mahatma. Kumbhakaraha, kumbham karoti iti kumbhakara, potter. Two words are there, no? Kumbha and kar. Gajananaha. Gajasya ananam iva ananam yasya saha gajananaha. One whose head is like that of elephant. So Gaja and Anana. Gaja means elephant. Anana means face. Elephant faced. One who has got face of elephant. So these are examples of samasa in Sanskrit. So what is happening in all these? Two words are combining to become one word. That is called as samasa. Then, to understand or elaborate the meaning of the samasta pada, of the compound word, samasta has to be split. That splitting is called as vigraha. Like for example, what I just now told you. Pitam ambaram, pitambaram. Mahan atma yasya saha mahatma. Kumbham karoti iti kumbhakaraha. Don't worry, don't write all these things. They will come. I am just giving example. Gajasya ananam iva ananam yasya saha gajananaha. So what am I doing? I am splitting the samasa. I am splitting the samasa in order to communicate the meaning of that compound word samastapada. That is called as vigraha. That splitting is called as vigraha. So what all things we saw? To combine many words to form one word is called as samasa. Then that new word is called as samastapada. For example, pitambaram is a samastapada. It's a compound word. Mahatma, kumbhakaraha, gajananaha, these are all samastapadas. Now, in order to understand the meaning what is given by that samastapada, we need to split it. We need to split. That splitting is called as vigraha. Splitting of samasa. Please note, there was sandhi. Sandhi means joining. Means many words are written together. They don't become one word, but they are written together. Now to split it, we were calling it as sandhi vichcheda. Now when we are doing sandhi vichcheda, for example, soyam. Suppose this is the sandhi. Now to split it, we were just doing saha ayam. So this is sandhi vichcheda. Now in samasa we are writing it together, and in samasa vigraha we are going to split it, but you will see that we are adding some more things. Here we are not adding anything. Soyam, saha, ayam, it is one and the same. Only changes are there. This visarga changes to u, then a plus u becomes o, then this a is dropped, therefore it is written as avagraha. Only changes are happening. We are not adding anything new. While doing sandhi vichcheda, we are not adding anything. But in vigraha, we are adding things. Mahan atma yasya. Kumbham karoti. Gajasya ananam iva ananam yasya. We are adding few things. That adding few things and thus creating a comprehensible statement which will give meaning, that is called as vigraha. Okay. So samasa means compound. Samasta pada means compound word. And to split this samasta pada, split the samasa and make this samasta pada into a sentence is called as vigraha or samasa vigraha. Okay? Are you all with me? Samasa, samasta pada, vigraha. Why this vigraha is important? Why should we do vigraha? Because vigraha is one of the important aspects of elaboration. Let us see that. Vyakhyanam. Vyakhyana, generally in usage, Vyakhyana today nowadays is called as lecture. Some Vyakhyana is there. This person is going to give Vyakhyana. Actually, it has a very technical meaning. Vyakhyana actually means effective speech. Vishesha akhyana. Akhya means story or elaboration. Akhyanam, to elaborate. Vishesha akhyanam, to elaborate well. So when we want to elaborate well, 5 aspects or 5 elements are there which are necessary, which we need to do while doing Vyakhyana. While explaining, while elaborating on anything, we must do these 5 things. What are those 5 things? Verse is there to remember, as always in Sanskrit. Why? Who will remember 5 things? So verse, you remember verse. What is that? Repeat after me. Padachedaf padarthoktihi vigraho vakya yojana akshepasya samadhanam vyakhyanam panchalakshanam. Together. Padachedaf padarthoktihi vigraho vakya yojana akshepasya samadhanam vyakhyanam panchalakshanam. A vyakhyana, an elaboration, should have these 5 lakshanas, these 5 elements, aspects should be there. What are the 5 elements? Number 1, padachedaha. When you want to explain any verse, any text, first what you should do is you need to separate out the words. Padacheda. Splitting or separating words by doing Sandhi Vichcheda. For example, let us take the same verse. Padacheda. Padarthoktihi. Vigraha. Vakyayojana. Akshepasya. Samadhanam. Vyakhyanam. Panchalakshanam. So, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words are there. Separating out the words is first thing. Do the Sandhi Vichcheda. So, Padarthoktir Vigraha. Vigraho means Padarthoktihi. Vigraho Vakya Yojana, you have split it as Vigraha Vakya Yojana. So, this is called as Padacheda. First, you separate out the padas, separate out the words by doing Sandhi Vichcheda. First step. Second step, Padartha Uktihi, meaning of each word. You must explain the meaning of each word. Actually, in all the Subhashitas that we see, in the beginning of every session, we are doing all these things. Padacheda we do, then each word, what does it mean? So, finding meaning of each word. Sometimes Nirukta Shastra is used for that. Nirukta is etymology, Finding the etymological meaning of each word. Padarthoktihi. Third is Vigraha. For this I gave you this verse. Vigraha means what? Understanding and analyzing grammatical structure of each word. Example. Padanam chedaha padachedaha. Or padanam chedaha. To separate out padas. So, Padacheda, how did I split it? How did I explain it? Padanam Chedaha. Padartho Uktihi. Padanam Arthaha Padarthaha. Padarthasya Uktihi Padarthoktihi. Now, what I am doing? I am splitting the Samasta Pada into small bits and explaining the meaning by adding certain components. I hope you are understanding what is happening here. See, take for example this word Padarthokti. There are actually 3 words. Pada, Artha, Uktihi. 3 words are actually combined together to make one word. What is Pada and Artha? How are they combined together? Padasya Artha or Padanam Artha. Padasya Arthaha Padarthaha. So, Padasya Artha Padartha, meaning of a word. Tasya Uktihi. To put it, Ukti means to tell the meaning of the word. Tasya Uktihi Padarthoktihi. So, this is called as Vigraha. Word is Padarthoktihi. But to explain the meaning of that word, because it is a compound word, there are more than one word that is combined together. You are elaborating by saying Padasya Artha Padartha, Tasya Ukti, Padarthokti. This is called as Vigraha. Vigraha, understand and analyze the grammatical structure of each word, and therefore to elaborate it in a sentence. This is called Vigraha. Okay. Next. Vakya Yojana. Vakya Yojana, connecting words in proper order to create a meaningful sentence. Now for this, everything is already in order, we don't have to do much. But in many of the shlokas we have seen, because with Sandhi, because in Sanskrit, Vibhakti etc. is joined, the order is not important, order can be anywhere. Now to put it in proper order, what we saw as Anvaya, remember? Anvaya, there we did this Padacheda, then Anvaya, we did all these things. Some of the examples we saw in Bhagavad Gita also. Verse is there, now you first split the verse into into individual words and then rearrange them into proper order to make a meaningful sentence. Generally for this Mimamsa Shastra is used. They are known as Vakya Shastra. Vakya Shastra. They are well known for that. And then last one is Akshepasya Samadhanam. Akshepa means doubt. Samadhana means clarifying. Clarifying the doubts in some of the words that is possible, which is generally done by using logic, Nyaya Shastra. So you see, why in our tradition, in our culture, in our gurukulas, now you will understand why all these things were taught. Padacheda and Vigraha requires Vyakarana. Correct? For Padacheda you need to know Sandhi. For Vigraha you need to know Samaasa, and also you need to know Vibhakti and Vachana and Purusha and Kriya Pada. All these things you need to know. So for these two things you need Vyakarana. For Padarthokti you need Nirukta Shastra, which is another limb of Veda. Vedanga, no, one of the Vedangas is Shiksha, Kalpa, Nirukta. Third is Nirukta, fourth is Vyakarana. So both those things we need. Also in our tradition, Mimamsa and Nyaya used to be taught. Why? In order to understand the overall meaning of the sentence, Mimamsa Shastra, and to understand the logic behind it, Nyaya Shastra. So any philosophy you want to study, before that they will teach all these things. Nirukta they will teach, Vyakarana they will teach, Shiksha they will teach how to pronounce also. And Mimamsa they will teach, and Nyaya. So suppose you want to study Vedanta also, in the traditional gurukulas, first few years they will only teach you all these things. They will not even touch Vedanta. Then once you master grammar, Vyakaran part, and then Nyaya Shastra, logic, etc., and Mimamsa Shastra, then you will be taught the actual subject that you have come to study. So these were like compulsory subjects in all gurukulas. Okay. Sometimes it is also called as Pada Vakya Pramana. Three Shastras are important. Pada Shastra, Vakya Shastra, and Pramana Shastra. Pada Shastra, the Shastra that deals with words, that is Vyakarana Shastra. Vakya Shastra is Mimamsa, that which deals with sentence. And Pramana means logic, analysis. That is Nyaya. Okay. What is the point? The point is, in order to explain any text, this is the traditional way of doing it. You will see often, I am not trying to put anybody down or not trying to do anything, but you will see any person who has studied in a lineage will automatically do this. So just by listening to their discourse, you know whether the person is coming in lineage or not. Not to boast or anything, but you see nowadays there are so many great speakers, etc. They are talking on Vedanta, they are talking on Vyakarana, etc. You listen to some of them, you know this is a Chinmaya Mission product. You know it. They might not be with Chinmaya Mission, but they have studied in Chinmaya Mission. Why? Because this traditional method of analysis and explanation is there, automatically coming into through the Guru Shishya Parampara. It automatically comes into the Pravachana, it automatically comes into the Vyakhyan. Any topic also they will give, no? It so many times happens because it has become so much programmed. I remember recently they gave me one topic to have for youngsters, to be happy, tips for happy living. And I started elaborating what is happy, what is living, what is tips. And then I was like, why I am doing all these things? But then I said, no, it is required. Otherwise, how will they understand what exactly? So this is a traditional way of doing it. If a topic is given, if a verse is there, you split the word. Understand what is the meaning of each word. How are they connected to form that sentence? This is a traditional way of Vyakhyana. And in this Vyakhyana, Vigraha is one of the most important aspects, which we have not seen. Other things we have seen. Padacheda we have seen. Padarthokti little bit we know. Vakya Yojana, Anvaya, etc. we have seen. Akshepasya Samadhanam is particular to that particular scripture, that particular Shastra, that you will study. Suppose Vedanta Shastra, then you will study Akshepasya Samadhana for Vedanta. It will be different in each Shastra. That's a different thing. But from Vyakarana standpoint, one thing that is remaining is Vigraha. That's what we are going to see. Some Vigraha, some kind of Vigraha we have already seen. Let us see what is it that we have already seen. So Vigraha. Visheshena grihyate jnayate anena iti Vigraha. What am I doing? I am doing Vigraha of Vigraha. I am writing Vigraha of Vigraha. Vigraha is a word. Vi, upasarga, graha. Graha means what? Grihyate anena. Visheshena grihyate. Grihyate means what? Jnayate. So you will see, actually, the word Vigraha has two things. Vi plus Graha. Now this Graha is Kridanta. Is a noun that is formed from Dhatu. So you explain this further by saying Grihyate anena. Grihyate anena iti Graha. Now Vi is in the meaning of Visheshena. This is Upasarga we have seen. So Visheshena Grihyate anena iti Vigraha. Now sometimes the word Grihyate may not be understood. What does it mean? Therefore we add one more word to give meaning. Jnayate. Visheshena Grihyate Jnayate anena iti Vigraha. Please translate into English. Anena, by which something is known. Grihyate jnayate, well or properly, Visheshena. That by which something is properly known, that is called as Vigraha. So what is it? What is that? That is an elaboration. That is a sentence. A sentence by which something is properly known. Therefore, Vigraha, we often use it in the form of Vigraha Vakya. It's a sentence that we composed. For example, this, you see, Visheshena Grihyate Jnayate Anena iti Vigraha. This is a Vakya. This is a statement. So, by this statement, what have you done? You have explained the meaning of Vigraha properly. Vrittihi. Vritti is what? Word formed by combination of words and or by adding pratyayas to convey the meaning that is much different, deeper and greater than constituent words. In other words, samasta pada is a vritti. Vritti means short explanation. Vigraha is its elaboration. Simple. You can understand this as short. And Vigraha is elaboration. So for every vritti, there can be Vigraha. Or if you need to expand vritti, that expansion of vritti is called as Vigraha. And if you want to summarize, that summarization is called as vritti. Two things are there, no? Sometimes you need to elaborate, sometimes you need to concise, you need to put everything together. So that elaboration is called as Vigraha and making it concise is called as vritti. So word formed by combination of words, that is Samaasa, and or adding pratyayas, Kridanta, Tadditanta, etc. to convey the meaning. Now the combined meaning is something which is much different, much deeper and greater than the constituent words. Constituent words for the word Vigraha is Vi and Graha. But the combined word Vigraha gives more meaning than the summation of individual components. This is a very well-known principle of management, where they say whole should be more than summation of parts. Management principle. Whole thing should be more than summation of parts. If it is just whole is summation of parts, but that whole has to give something more than summation of parts. If it does not give, then there is no point in making that summation. Similarly here, more than one word is coming together, that should give an additional information, additional content than just summation of individuals. And that's what it does. It gives different meaning, it gives deeper meaning, and it gives greater meaning than what the constituent words can do. So vritti means concise, combined word. Vigraha means its elaboration. So samasta pada is one kind of vritti. Kridanta is another kind of vritti. We will see that in the next slide. So right now just please understand vigraha and vritti. Vigraha and vritti. Let us put these two ideas together and say vigraho nama vritti artha avabodhakam vakyam. What do you mean by vigraha? Vigraho nama, vigraha means vritti, the combined word, artha meaning, avabodhakam, that which elaborates. So vigraha is a sentence that reveals the meaning of the vritti, avabodhakam, that which gives meaning. Artha means meaning, and vritti means that combined word. So vigraha is a sentence that reveals the meaning of the vritti. So if you want to summarize, you will write it as vritti. If you want to elaborate, you will write it as vigraha. Is this okay? So vigraha and vritti. Example, vrikshamulam is a vritti. How do you split it? Vrikshasya moolam. Please understand, this is Samaasa. For Sandhi, Vigraha is not required. Sandhi Vichcheda is sufficient. Vichcheda means just to separate out. You don't have to add anything into that Vigraha Vakya. That Vigraha Vakya doesn't need to be added with something. But here you are adding a Vibhakti. Vriksha Moolam, you are adding Vrikshasya Moolam. Atma Jnanam, Atmanaha Jnanam. Self-knowledge means what? Knowledge of self. Draupadi, Drupadasya apatyam stri. Last class we saw. Drupada's daughter is Draupadi. Now Draupadi is a vritti. Drupadasya apatyam stri. This is a Vigraha Vakya. Explanatory sentence. Ramaha, Ramate iti Ramaha. You understand? So Kridanta, Tadditanta or Samastapada, Samaasa. So we started with what is the Samaasa? Samaasa is compound. Compound means combining two or more words to form one word. The newly formed word is called as Samastapada, not Samaasa. Samaasa means combining. The process is called as Samaasa. The result is called as Samastapada. And now suppose other way you want to do, there is Samastapada, you want to split, then that splitting is called as Vigraha, Samaasa Vigraha. Separating out the individuals and adding the clear meaning. Why this Vigraha is necessary? Because it is one of the 5 elements of Vyakhyana. Vigraha we do for what? We do Vigraha for vritti. One of the vrittis is Samaasa or Samastapada. That is one of the vrittis. What are the remaining vrittis? There are 5 types of vrittis. We have seen this. Don't get tensed. We have seen this. Kridanta. We have seen or not? Yes. Creation of a noun from a verb. Example, Ramaha, Ramate iti Ramaha. Krishnaha, Krishati or Karshati iti Krishnaha. One who pulls. Akarshati, Akarshati. Haraha or Harihi, Harati iti Harihi. One who removes, one who kidnaps. Hara or Hari. Hara means Shiva, Hari means Vishnu. Both of them have one thing in common. They take away. They take away what? They take away all your sins. They take away all your mind. They take the mind towards them. Therefore, they are called as Hara or Hari. So, what are we doing? Kridantas, we are writing them as Vigraha. So, Kridanta is a vritti and we are writing Vigraha for that vritti. If you understand this, no, then you will start explaining Sanskrit. People will be like, oh, what are you doing? Nothing, very simple thing. Just one word you are explaining. Ramaha, Ramate iti Ramaha. You must have heard all these things when you listen to discourses, etc. They will be explaining the meaning of words like this only by giving Vigraha. Sometimes they will tell in Sanskrit, sometimes they will translate in English and give if the language is English. But that is what is done. Kridanta. Second is Taddhitanta. Creation of a noun from another noun. This also we have seen. Dasharatihi. Dasharathasya apatyam puman. Dasharathi means what? Dasharatha's son. Dasharatha's child who is male. That is Dasharatha's son. Dasharathi. Medhavi. Medha asya asti iti medhavi. Medhavi, intelligent. One who has intelligence. Medha yasya asti. Asya asti. Iti medhavi. So this is called as vritti and Vigraha. So vritti is Taddhita, Taddhitanta vritti, and then Vigraha. Third is Samaasa, which we will be seeing now. Creation of a compound word by adding two or more words. Example, Raja Purushaha, Rajnyaha Purushaha. King's person, minister of a king, Raja Purushaha. Kumbhakaraha, Kumbham Karoti iti. Potter, one who makes pot. Now, Vedji, potter is clear. Yes. How it is clear? In your mind, you are clear that potter is one who makes pot. So, you may not say it, but in your mind, this Vigraha is happening. Rameshwaraha. Ramaha Ishwaraha Yasya Saha Rameshwaraha. Different Vigrahas can be given. Rameshwara is there, no? Rameshwara. Many people know when they go, they think Rameshwara is temple of Sri Rama. It is not temple of Sri Rama. It is temple of Lord Shiva built by Sri Rama. He did that Prana Pratishtha of Shivalinga there, no, before going to Lanka. Why? Why it is called as Rameshwara? Ramasya Ishwaraha, Lord of Rama. One meaning. Ramasya Ishwara. Another meaning. Ramaha Ishwara Yasya, one for whom Rama is Lord. Both ways it means Shiva only. Why? Sri Rama's Lord is Shiva and Shiva's Lord is Sri Rama. So, Ramaha Ishwaraha Yasya Saha Rameshwara. So, what are we doing now? For this vritti, which is the Samastapada, we are doing Vigraha. So, Vigraha is done for vritti. Three types of vrittis we have seen. Fourth kind of vritti is called as Ekashesha vritti. In this Ekashesha, what happens is actually it is like Samaasa, where two words form a compound word. The only thing is, only one word remains. Therefore, Eka Shesha, one remains. Eka means one, Shesha means remains. Example, Pitarau. Actually, what do you mean by Pitarau? Pitarau literally means fathers, two fathers. It is not two fathers, it is Mata cha, Pita cha, Pitarau. Careful. What is happening? Mata cha Pita cha, if you put together, they should be called as Mata Pitarau. Ideally, this is Samaasa. Two words are combining to form one word. This is Samaasa. But Ekashesha says, in this, Mata is not necessary, it is understood. When you say Pitarau, you understand it is Mata also. So they will use Pitarau, Ekashesha, where one is only there, but in Vigraha Vakya we know there are two, Mata cha, Pita cha. Jagataf Pitarau Vande, Parvati Parameshwarau. Very famous verse. Jagataf Pitarau Vande. I prostrate to the mother and father of the world. Who are they? Parvati Parameshwarau. Parvati and Lord Shiva. So Pitarau. Even this Dvivachana that we have, no? For example, Saha, Tau, Te. Saha, he. Tau, both of them. Te, all of them. This Tau is actually Sahacha, Sahacha. Both of them means what? He and he. So when he and he is put together, two things are put together, only one remains. That is called as Ekashesha. Balakau. Balakah cha, balakah cha. One balaka and another balaka. Together are called as two children. This is also Ekashesha only actually. Okay. Why Eka? Only one is remaining. No, only one word is remaining, Tau. It is not becoming Sasa. This is not becoming Mata Pitarau. Among the two words, only one remains, Pitarau. Mata is understood. Okay. This is called as Ekashesha. Ekashesha is also Vritti for which Vigraha is required. Alright. And the last one is also some that we have seen, Sanadyanta. Those words that end with san pratyas. There are some pratyas starting with san. Example, Mumokshati, Moktum Ichchati. Desideratives, you remember? Sanadi, desideratives. Jigamishati, Gantum Ichchati. We had seen this where from one dhatu, other dhatu is formed by adding san pratyaya. So that also becomes vritti. Why? Because an explanation is required. Somebody who knows, very good. But somebody who doesn't know, you have to explain. Mumuksha means what? Moktum ichha. Mumukshutva. Moktum ichha. Mumukshutva. Tasya bhavaha. Moktum ichha mumuksha. Tasya bhavaha mumukshutva. Pipasa. Patum ichha. Pipasa. Clear? So wherever explanation is required, that is called as vritti, and that explanation is called as vigraha. So for what all explanation is required? For kridanta, taddita, samasa, ekashesha, sanadyanta. So there are 5 types of vrittis. Alright. Lot of things we have seen today. Sufficient. We will stop here. Please remember what all points we have seen. Samaasa, samastapada, vigraha. For why vigraha? Because it is one of the lakshanas of vyakhyana. Then in vigraha we understood what is vigraha. Vigraha is explanation of what? Vritti. Vritti is a summarization. Concise word is called as vritti. Its explanation is called as vigraha. Vritti is of 5 types. Kridanta, taddita, samasa, ekashesha and sanadyanta. Among all 5 vrittis, we are going to focus on Samaasa now. Okay? We'll stop for today. In next session, we will see why are we seeing Samaasa, what is the purpose, and what happens when Samaasa is used. How Samaasa is to be understood also. All that, what are the classifications of Samaasa, all that we will see in the next session. Let us conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Harihi Om.